Alright, hello Smegheads. I've recently watched back all the episodes of Red Dwarf, and it got me thinking, I need a big video to get some ad revenue. Oh, and also, what is the best Red Dwarf episode? It's one of my favourite comedies of all time. I'll be including all the original 8 classic series, and I'm using the term classic loosely when it comes to series 7.
Life without curry. It's like Laurel without Hardy. The Lone Ranger without that Indian bloke.
Sir, perhaps you could learn to love
Series 7. I'll also include Series 10 to 12 from the rebooted era. However, I am not including Back to Earth or The Promised Land, since they are feature-length specials. This list was hard to make, as there isn't really many bad episodes. Even at its worst, it's still a very funny and entertaining show. Remember, this is my opinion, so let me know your favourites in the comments, and what you agree or disagree with. With that being said, let's start the countdown. Starting off with an episode from Series 10, we have Fathers and Sons. Lister sends himself a Father's Day card to celebrate the fact he's his own father. Sweet home Alabama. Meanwhile, Rimmer and Crichton install a new computer called Pre to replace Holly. It can predict the future actions of crew members, and therefore saves them time by saying what will happen in the future. Hopefully it works better than predictive text, because usually my phone seems to think I want to say a rude word rather than duck. There are parts of this episode that don't age too well, such as the vending machines talking with an offensive fake Asian accent. But if you ignore that, it's still a very good episode and well worth a watch. I love especially the interaction Lister has with himself while drunk.
What, do you think I'm stupid? Is that what you think? Do you think I'm stupid? Hey, get the film fixed, then play the next message. What the smeg? Don't swear.
Danger. Do not attempt to open this pod. The creature inside is extremely hostile.
In at number 9 is Polymorph from Series 3. A shape-shifting life form escapes its prison and gets aboard Red Dwarf. It feeds off negative emotions. So Red Dwarf is basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for him.
Who's that there? An old girlfriend, Mr. Arnold, sir? Not really your type, I suppose. Silly old trout like that.
She's my mother.
Oh, God, I am so sorry, sir.
It soon takes an emotion from every crew member. It drains Lister's fear, sucks all of the cat's vanity, and takes away Crichton's guilt, and finally feasts on all of Rimmer's anger. Now, the effects haven't aged too well in this episode, but they do still have their charms. Although the polymorph model looks like a small gust of wind would blow it completely over. The episode has so many twists and turns, and you never know what the polymorph will turn into next.
Look, we're travelling faster than the speed of light. That means by the time we see something, we've already passed through it. Even with an IQ of 6,000, it's still brown trousers time.
In at number 8 is a classic from the first series, Future Echoes. Now, I know Series 1 isn't always remembered too fondly, due to all the military grey sets, but it does have some great moments. In Future Echoes, Red Dwarf breaks the barrier of the speed of light. The crew begins to experience visions from their future. Unfortunately for Lister, Rimmer sees a future echo of him dying in the drive room. It also includes Chris Barry looking fabulous in a beehive hairdo wig.
But you are how you look, and I look like a complete and total tit.
It's written so well, and the dialogue between Rimmer and Lister is at its best in this episode.
Rimmer, you wanted to know what happened to you?
Yes. You goit. No, you goit.
From now on, Red Dwarf is run by Queeg 500.
In at number 7 is Queeg from Series 2. This is the quintessential Holly episode where he gets to shine. After getting tired of Holly's constant mistakes, including almost electrocuting Lister, the crew decide to confront him. Before a new computer actually takes over and starts running the ship like a dictator, the crew grow tired of Queeg.
He's taken the smeg.
Who is?
Queeg, look what he's given me for dinner. A pea on toast.
And want Holly back, only to find out in the end that Holly was both computers, which is quite possibly the best twist ending to any episode. It was lovely to see Holly get a spotlight episode before Norman Lovett originally left the show after the end of Series 2.
And the moral of the story is, appreciate what you've got, because basically, I'm fantastic.
The hologram known as Rimmer, guilty of second-degree murder.
In at 6 is Justice from Series 4. Lister starts the episode recovering from space mumps, which to this day I still think the makeup looks really awesome, but also gross at the very same time. While this is happening, a pod has been found with a life form. It is either an innocent guard called Barbara Bellini, or a kill-crazed simulant. Crew decide to go to Justice World, a place where it's impossible to commit a crime. Basically, it's the polar opposite to East London. While they are there, Rimmer is sentenced to 9,000 years in prison for second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder? 1,000 people? I would have remembered.
Although some of the sets look a bit basic, this episode has some of the biggest laughs of the entire series.
And are there no others who've shared moments of intimacy with him?
Only one, but she's got a puncture.
Objection!
Overruled.
My name is Crichton. I'm the service mechanoid aboard the Nova 5. We've had a terrible accident. The male officers died on impact. The female officers are injured but stable. Please help us.
In at number 5 is Crichton from Series 2. Now an interesting note, this was my first ever Red Dwarf episode. We had a VHS tape with the first 3 episodes from Series 2, and of course this is the first episode from Series 2, and it led me into wanting to watch the whole entire series.
What kind of milk are we using now?
Emergency backup supply. We're on the dog's milk.
The crew receive a distress call from Crichton, a mechanoid aboard the Nova 5, a ship which is crewed by 3 surviving females. Lister, Cat and Rimmer are all excited by the prospect of seeing women, so decide to dress up in their own unique ways.
You're gonna have to help me, man. Thank you.
However, they are disappointed to find out the crew have been very much dead for a very long time, to the surprise of Crichton. It has to be said though, Crichton as a mechanoid in Series 2 looks as convincing as England in a World Cup. This was an excellent introduction to the character of Crichton, who would become a main character in future series.
I think it's rather good, Miss Ronald, don't you, sir?
This is not a drill. This is a drill. Abandon ship. Oh, God, now the sirens bust. Awooga! Awooga! Abandon ship.
In at 4 is Marooned from Series 3. This is virtually a Rimmer and Lister exclusive episode, with very few sets and almost no interaction with other characters. Just 2 men trapped on a nice planet with only each other as company. Some great stories and some great jokes.
Just a pot noodle. Oh, and I found a tin of dog food in the tool cupboard.
Well, it's obvious what gets eaten last then, isn't it? Can't stand pot noodles.
It also includes Lister eating dog food. Oh dear. It has some great character development with both Lister and Rimmer, as well as a classic joke where Lister tricks Rimmer into thinking he has burnt down his guitar. Bottle episodes can be hit and miss in sitcoms, but this one is up there as one of the best.
We're going to do to Lister what Alexander the Great once did to me.
On behalf of Leisure World International, may we be the first to say, welcome back to reality.
In at number 3 is Back to Reality from Series 5. This episode is very popular among the Red Dwarf fandom. It includes a giant despair squid which attacks the crew, causing them to hallucinate. It is revealed all is not as it seems, as each crew member is just playing a Red Dwarf total immersion game. Slowly it's revealed that each character has traits that send them into despair. Rimmer is homeless and shares a parent with the wealthy Lister. For Cat, it's the fact he's the buck-toothed Dwayne Dibley, an unfashionable dweeb.
So this is really me? A no-style gimbo with teeth the druids could use as a place of worship?
Lister is chief and head of the Ministry of Alteration and Assassination Bureau, and Crichton is distraught when he takes the life of a human. It's easy to see why this is a fan favourite, only bettered in my opinion by 2 episodes. In at number 2 is Gunman of the Apocalypse from Series 6. The first episode in this list from Series 6. The episode includes one of the funniest moments of the entire series, where both Lister and the cat are upside down using Crichton's eyes in order to try to deceive a simulant.
Humans? The Vindelian people despise all humans. They are the vermin of the universe. Is that not right, Bindi Badgie?
However, he is not fooled, but doesn't see them as a challenge. After a short battle, the simulant ship is disabled, but the simulants transmit an Armageddon virus to Starbug. Crichton now must enter a Wild West themed simulation in order to fight the virus, eventually joined by the rest of the crew. It is non-stop in this wild adventure, leaving the viewer on edge until the very last seconds. Before I reveal the number 1 spot, there are a few honourable mentions that didn't quite make the list.
My name is Cassandra. I am a computer with the ability to predict the future with an accuracy rating of 100%.
Maybe we could swap ships. This baby's got to be better than Red Dwarf. That crate's slower than the speed of dark.
Welcome home, gentlemen. If you'd like to proceed to the aft, you'll find the landing lights on in Bay 47.
Bay 47? That's quarantine!
In at number 1 is Quarantine from Series 5. Very appropriate for current times. While searching a derelict ship for Dr. Landstrom, Rimmer contracts a holovirus, causing him to go insane. Well, more insane than usual, sticking the rest of the crew in quarantine. As we all know, being locked up with people in close quarters hasn't been too easy, and certainly wasn't for the dwarfers. A few broken bones and scars later, Rimmer descends further into insanity by removing oxygen from the room. However, aboard the ship were positive viruses, such as the luck virus, which gives any individual incredibly good luck for a short amount of time.
Huh. I think that indicates the luck virus is worn off.
Using this, they are able to defeat Rimmer, who is in a rather fetching dress, with a sock puppet called Mr. Flibble.
That's better. Maybe now I can win self-determination for these South Moldavian people.
Series 5 is my favourite series, and this episode is warm custard on a cold day. I just want to consume it all up. I hope you enjoyed my list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, what you agree with and what you disagree with. But for now, take care and smeg off.
We're here to entertain you.